Alright guys, so I am recording a video of how this bubble map process should have worked, my own example, and then I'm going to show you how your information that you wrote down should be used in your essay, because I think a lot of you have information on your bubbles that you're not putting in your essay. The other day I showed you a thesis statement, an introductory paragraph for your writing as an example. But I'm going to start at the beginning of that process and work it out. So, we're going to pretend like I have my sources all around me. I think I'm going to write about foraging. That probably was one of the first thoughts you had. So I'm going to say, foraging is better. So that's my topic. Now, we know in a thesis statement you have to have 3 reasons why. So I'm going to number them. 1, 2, 3. These are and if I need to put them out, reason. Now, why do I think foraging is better? Well, one of the ones that I see outright in one of my handy dandy handouts says, for hunters and gatherers, there is a 12 to 15 hour week. Well, I like the idea that I don't have to work all week long to find food, okay, or make food, or reap food like a farmer would. So, I'm going to write my first reason, less hours working. Now, I already have my evidence too. So, on the board, there was the PEE, and I have my first point. So now I'm going to draw an arrow to my evidence, and I'm going to write evidence right here so I know that that's what I'm going to use. All right, and I know that my evidence has to have a quote, the author's name or article's name, and the page or the paragraph you found it from. Okay, so I'm going to write article name was farming a good idea? Question mark. I'm going to quote it. For hunter-gatherers, however, 12 to 15 hours a week was likely enough to, doesn't say to, likely enough on average to supply their food needs. Period. Okay, and then I need to know, I don't see an author's name, but I have the title name, okay, the article name. I have my quote. What else am I missing? Oh, right, page or paragraph. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 5. So I'm going to write for myself a little paragraph symbol and 5. And now I can put that in my bubble. All right, now I'm ready for the next step. Explain. Okay, so they work less hours. I got a quote, so now I explain. Okay, so now I need to think about how am I going to write this quote to prove my point. I can write according to this information if I was a forager, because I'm thinking about myself. If I was a forager, I would have plenty of time to enjoy other things instead of working in a garden or on a farm. All right, so I've explained how this information proves my point. So now I'm going to move on to reason 2. And I know it's backwards, but I'll show the end product when I'm done. Let's see. I'm taking the time to look back at this and reread each paragraph because I can't just look at a sentence and write it down and then try to go back. I have to know what the sentence means in the text itself. So let me look. So I see in paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, it says, as for hunter-gatherers, clearly as they had been outclassed, or had they? In trying to understand what hunting and gathering was like, anthropologists today study the few societies of that type that remain in various parts of the world. What they have found is that hunter-gatherers are not necessarily worse off than farmers. In fact, many of them have plenty of leisure time, get a good night's sleep, and do not work nearly as hard as people in farming societies, or for that matter, in big American corporations. For example, in the United States today, a full-time work week is from 35 to 40 hours a week. In many high-powered professions, work weeks are considerably longer. Okay, so reason 2. I'm going to say not only do they work less, but they stress less. All right. And then I have to find my evidence. Well, what do you mean they stress less? What is your evidence? What do you mean by that? Okay, so I've got to find the information. I'm going to write, was farming a good idea? Question mark. I'm going to quote. And I want to use part of the quote that says they're not necessarily worse off than farmers. So I'm going to use 3 dots at the beginning because I'm not using the entire sentence, just that one part. Hunter, gatherers are not necessarily worse off than farmers. Period. In fact, many of them have plenty of leisure time, get a good night's rest. Oh, it says sleep. I gotta quote it properly. And do not work nearly as hard as people in farming societies. And I'm not going to use the rest of that quote because it just isn't needed. So I'm just going to do period, 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 or 3 dots to say there's rest to that quote in the article, but I don't need it. And I know this comes from paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to write a little paragraph symbol in 4. All right, now, how am I going to explain that? What do I mean by this? How am I using this evidence? All right, so I've already mentioned in my first paragraph that I'm working less hours, so I might just kind of want to pick up there. I could say the article and then I stop because I'm not sure where I want to go with that. The article, or in this part of the text, comma, in this part of the text, comma, examples of a less stressful lifestyle are used, period, right? Because these are examples of what it would be like to have a less stressful life, more leisure time, getting a good night's sleep, and not having to work as hard. So, in this part of the text, examples of a less stressful lifestyle are used. Now, I got to still pull from this evidence what I really want to mention. So, foraging is a great way to be stress-free. Because of more leisure time and more sleep. All right. Now, do I really need to go through a third example? Well, I suppose for you guys I will, but I'm going to make it short because I have 50 seconds left on this video. So my third reason. All right, this one's pretty good. Class divisions and gender inequality. So people are separated. Foraging is better because people are more equal with farming. With foraging. All right, and then evidence is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.